Hey guys, Wade Neely here with Giles County head football coach David O'Connor. Week 1 already in the books as we welcome you to this edition of the Coach's Corner Show presented by PES. Coach, let's dive right in. Giles County, first of all, congrats and welcome back to Pulaski. Cats win at 70-28. Your initial takeaway after a big win over Columbia last week?
Initial takeaway was it was just another great atmosphere in the Brickyard, another good place to spend a Friday night in the fall.
It was fantastic. There was some weather concerns, but we still had a pretty good crowd, and it seemed like the energy, not only in the stands but on the field, was there last week.
Oh, no doubt. The 12th man really aided our football team, and we got off to a little bit of a slow start in the first series, and I guess the energy in the stadium kind of picked our guys up and got them moving forward. And once it got rolling, that ball was tough to stop. Let's
kind of break it down now. You guys do start off slow, go 3 and out on the opening possession. Defense, however, forces a 3 and out as well. Then the Cats started really clicking. What adjustments, if any, from that first drive to that second drive were made?
I think just a lot of the jitters. We got those out of the players on the sideline. Talked to them a little bit. John, the quarterback, he was really excited about playing his first game here in the Brickyard, and just he and Coach Flip on the headsets over. But between series made a big difference with him.
We'll talk a lot more about John Bobcat. He accounted for 5 total touchdowns. Arkel Reed, however, the running back, he got the scoring open with the first of his 5 touchdowns. How tough is this senior running back? He was toting it awfully rough on Friday night.
Oh yeah, he is a big time ball carrier. I think he's really he's still working with a few injury problems that he's trying to get through, and if we can get him back to 100%, he's going to really be special.
He did a fantastic job. Some of the guys that don't maybe get a lot of the credit, though, what about the offensive line play? It seemed like those guys were really clicking. How did they grade when you got a chance to watch them on tape?
They all 5 graded really well. Even the tight end we brought in, Noah Scoggins. Those guys did a really good job. As a matter of fact, those 5 guys were our offensive players of the week this week, and I was really proud of them because the week before they had a pretty tough game over in Chattanooga and against McCallie. So they really picked their game up and really made the difference in our offense.
Cats strike, they put the first 7 points on the board. You turned to your special teams. You were able to get a nice turnover early in the ball game. How big of a momentum swing was that, being able to pick up that free possession?
Well, it was big. It was real big because we scored off the very next play. And anytime you can flip the game like that, it really almost crushed the attitude, the spirit, I guess, of Columbia.
It was certainly a big momentum shift. Columbia did, however, answer with a big 70-yard touchdown run. We'll get into defense in a little bit, but the Cats, they kept their pedal to the metal. Why were you guys able to find that continued success late into the first and second quarters?
I don't know. I guess maybe our conditioning program is really starting to pay off, and our kids just, I'm telling you, the confidence it almost popped, because that's really the first time this year through the 3 scrimmages we've had that we've had anything that looked anything like that.
John Bobcat, the quarterback for Giles County, he's a big, tall, strong-armed kid. We saw him make some fantastic throws. What did you see out of your quarterback on Friday night?
I saw a kid that has gained a lot of confidence. He was so much more confident in any of the 3 scrimmage games we've had up to this point, and his throwing timing was much better this week. I think Coach Flippo's done a wonderful job with him, kind of bringing him along slow, teaching him our offense, because there's a lot of things to know in our offense, and he's been in another high school offense for 2 years, and so I think he just progressed marvelously.
He did a fantastic job. Also seemed like the wide receivers had great success, particularly some of the youngsters. KJ Ziegler, how was he able to get so wide open on Friday night?
KJ Ziegler, he just got a great burst off the ball. His first couple steps are really good, and then his hands are strong. He's a young kid, but you can expect to hear his name a lot over the next 2 or 3 years.
Not just him. Kind of near this end zone where we're sitting, we saw a great move out of Peyton Hall. He hit that circle button on the PlayStation. He left the defender in the dust there.
Yes, he did, no doubt. For anybody that plays those PlayStations, Xbox circle button, he hit a spin and took off, and he was straight to the end zone. It was awesome.
Wasn't just those 2, however, some other wide receivers. You guys did a fantastic job, it seemed like. Is that really the goal, to kind of get 4, 5, 6 guys involved in the passing game?
That's right. I don't want them to have to defend just one guy, because if you can defend one guy and stop our offense, then we're in trouble, because everybody's going to have 1 or 2 good defenders. So if we can spread the ball around, that's what Coach Flippo's trying to do with our offense, then I think it's going to be much tougher to stop, because I think we have several weapons, not just 1 or 2.
Coach, you talked a little bit about the tough preseason that you guys scheduled, and the confidence maybe low after the preseason, but it was high on Friday night. Did something click maybe from these guys after playing such tough competition?
I think the fact that they walked in and on those first few plays they made contact with those guys, it wasn't quite the same as some of the people they've been making contact with.
I would think that certainly should be the case. Let's flip the script. Let's talk defense. Coach Roger Haynes, his first go-around as the D coordinator here for the Cats. Defensively, the Cats give up 28 points. There was a couple sloppy plays here and there, but overall, how would you assess your defense?
Well, as we go back and we watch film, we had a lot of good players doing a lot of good things, and here and there we'd have one or two that would just miss or be a step late, and that was the difference in a guy going 30 yards for a touchdown or a 3-yard loss.
Defensively, we'll start up front with the line. What did you see out of those big guys up front? Seemed like they were 3, 4, 5 deep at times on the tackling.
Oh, no doubt. D. McElroy had an awesome game up front. Key McDonald plays with such a motor to the defensive end. Those guys do some spectacular things. Jaquez White, I mean, he was all over the ball all night. We had some really good play with those defensive linemen that really made it easier for the people in the secondary in the long run.
Yeah, those guys clog the holes. Seems like it opens up the linebackers in the secondary to kind of roam around and make some plays.
That's exactly right. Our goal of our defensive linemen is to keep people off the linebackers. And we've got relatively small linebackers at the high school level, but allow them to move freely and make plays.
One guy you mentioned, Key McDonald, he was so nervous. He said he hardly could sleep before the game Friday night as he made his debut. He had a fantastic game, it seemed like, at that DM position.
Oh, he is. I'm telling you, he's a kid that plays with a great motor, good attitude, and I mean, he gets after the ball just unreal tenacity.
He was fantastic. Will we see him maybe transition back to that linebacker position? Or are we kind of just going to week by week see how we evaluate him?
It's a week by week game plan thing Coach Haynes does. I think he worked a little more linebacker yesterday preparing for next week, but I think he will be a guy that you're going to see him in both places. Sometime linebacker, sometime D end.
Let's talk secondary. Cats, they had their mitts on a couple of those, but they just couldn't quite squeeze them. Otherwise, we'd be talking 3, 4 interceptions.
Well, I was really looking for 7, to be honest with you. If we go back and watch film, I thought that we had a shot at 7. We got 1. And I think that's going to only get better as the year progresses. As our defensive line improves and we keep getting pressure on the quarterback, we're going to make those guys get rid of the ball a little quicker, and it's going to give our guys a better shot of getting it.
Who stood out to you in that secondary?
I think Brandon Rowan does a good job every week. I really think they all did. Trent Burns at one safety, Tanner Holly playing that outside linebacker spot, and then both of our corners, I think, are doing a really good job. With Austin Norwood over there, I think he's a guy that going into the season we thought would be a receiver. We really couldn't find a corner that was just being consistent. We move him over there, and he does a really good job.
How big of a factor? We're sitting here. The Brickyard looks fantastic, but it was kind of sloppy on Friday night with the weather, heavy rains in the area. How big of a factor were those conditions defensively for you guys, if at all?
It really wasn't. I didn't feel it was that big of a deal defensively. I thought, if anything, that helped us. I thought their speed was negated a little bit because not just speed, I guess their quickness, and they've been able to change directions.
Let's talk now final phase of the game, but it was a critical one, special teams. Jedediah Jenkins did a great job on the extra points. He just missed the one, but he had great leg drive on all those. And the kickoff coverage was fantastic, it seemed
Yes,
like.
it was. And really our kickoff coverage was all attributed to Jedediah Jenkins' kicks. That was something Coach Hickman schemed up. He's our kickoff team coach, and he schemed up. We're going to do that little pooch kick over there. We're going to try to hit that guy as he catches it. And really, we got one, but we had a shot for 2 or 3 more.
And to kind of describing that, you're really kicking it short. You didn't give up, you don't give up even a chance of a big return,
That's
but B,
right.
you have a chance to knock somebody's head off and get the football.
That's exactly right. Our goal at that point was to really get the ball back in our possession.
Didn't see much out of the punting unit. I guess you're probably happy with that.
That's really good. We punted the first time, and really that might have been John's best play. I think he punted probably a 50-yarder on a wet field, so that was really nice.
It was fantastic. Any other final takeaways? Columbia, that's a nemesis over the years for Giles County. They are a 5A school, but the Cats looked pretty solid in the win.
We did. We had some really good things. There were a lot of things we can improve on, especially defensively. And it's still a building block. And throughout my coaching career, your biggest improvements usually from game 1 to game 2. So if we make those kind of improvements, as it has been over the years, we ought to be really good this Friday.
We'll hold those thoughts. We'll talk a little bit more about week 2 as Giles County takes on Shelbyville right here at the Brickyard. On the other side of this timeout, you're watching the Coach's Corner Show presented by PES. Have you been thinking about getting back in shape? Or maybe you're an avid exerciser looking for something different. Come check us out at P-Town Strength and Fitness, where we offer a wide variety of functional movements, systematically programmed to help you get started and maximize your physical potential. Enjoy the sense of community, camaraderie, and teamwork in our one-of-a-kind group setting that will assist you in your quest for physical well-being. For more information, check us out on Facebook at P-Town Strength and Fitness or stop by at 200 East Jefferson Street in Pulaski.
I'm a weekend warrior, and soccer is one of my passions. But when I sprained my ankle, I thought that was all over. But I went to Benchmark Physical Therapy. I was treated with manual therapy. My progress was measured each step of the way. I put in the time, the reps, the work to get my ankle ready for anything. So now, it's like it never happened.
This is the circuit courtroom of the Giles County Courthouse. Every day, important decisions are made affecting people's rights and privileges. When you are in need of legal services, please allow the experienced lawyers of Andrew Hoover and Attorneys to assist you in every step.
I'm Andy Hoover. For your free initial consultation, please feel free to call our firm or visit our website. We're here to help.
I've got my closest friends over to watch the game on cable. Did you know you can advertise your local business during this cable program? Via Media represents the advertising for your cable system. They could put a TV commercial for you right here on this system during this show. Let Via Media help you. Call Via Media today or viamediatv.com.
Second half of the Coach's Corner Show presented by PES, rolling right along here at Sam Davis Park. Wade Needley here. Bobcats head football coach David O'Connor there. Coach O'Connor, Shelbyville is going to be coming into the Brickyard on Friday night. First of all, it's pretty awesome. The Cats got 2 home games right out of the gate, I feel like.
It is really nice. Hopefully we'll have a lot better weather. You know, it'd be a great night to come out, cheer on the Bobcats here at the Brickyard. You know, it's an electric atmosphere on Friday nights.
It's going to be fantastic. And speaking of electric, kind of a perfect segue as we talk about the Golden Eagles. This has been an electric offense in the 5A ranks over the last few years. They've beat up on Giles County the last 2 seasons. What have you seen after your initial takeaway on tape from these guys?
Well, they've got great athletes on the back end on both sides, offensively and defensively. And those same great athletes are good returners in the special teams game. Those guys carried 1 or 2 back against Lawrence County this past week, and you know, we're really going to have to do a good job of trying to keep the ball out of those guys' hands. And then if they do get it, we got to do a good job of staying in our lanes and tackling.
Speaking of offense, let's roll into. They lost a really talented quarterback, Mason Cunningham. He was one of the best ones, maybe even in school history up there at Shelbyville. He's gone, but what did you see out of his replacement last Friday?
He is really good at moving the offense. He manages what they do well. They've got a really good tailback with him, a kid about 6'1", 205 that runs the ball, probably as good as anybody I've seen this fall other than Arkell. And I think it'll be a big challenge for our defense. They run a lot of zone schemes with RPOs. You know, quarterback has a run-pass option. He can either give it, run it, or throw it. So, I mean, it'll be a big challenge for our defense.
We talked a lot about the defense in the first segment, especially the defensive line. How does that line match up favor O-line of Shelbyville versus D-line Giles County?
Well, I don't know. You know, Shelbyville has 3 guys in the middle of their offensive line that are big, strong, and they've looked really good on the film we've seen. Now, that being said, I'd like to think that our big guy in the middle, D. McElroy, can stand up and play with anybody, but it'll be a battle out here Friday night. That's
kind of on the interior. Let's talk the exterior now. A lot of speed on both ends for Shelbyville, both at the wideout end and the tailback. Biggest matchup in that secondary for Giles County coming into this
Us being able to tackle on the edge, you know, with Tanner Holly on one side, Trent Burns on the other side. Those guys being able to step up and play the perimeter run because they do a lot of jet speed sweep type things, speed options, a lot of bubble screens, a lot of quick screens to receivers. Their throws are not necessarily downfield. It's all within 5 to 10 yards, and they throw a lot of passes behind the line of scrimmage.
It'll be tough, no doubt, to scheme for them. Let's flip the script, though. Now let's talk about when the Bobcats have the football. What adjustments would you like to see out of your offense from week 1 to week 2?
I would like to eliminate some of the penalties. You know, we don't need a delay a game penalty. We don't need not enough people on the field type penalty. And a lot of that stuff we got to correct in practice this week. other than that, I think we got to keep doing what we do.
How does Shelbyville match up? We talk a lot year after year about their offense. Their defense is kind of sneaky, pretty good as well, it seems like.
That's right. They're a 3-4 defense, and they don't use just a ton of movement, but now they do a lot of good things in their secondary as far as pressing and manning you up out of what looks like more of a zone concept.
Final kind of phase of the game before we get maybe into a few intangibles questions. Special teams, what did you see out of the Golden Eagles? We know their return team sounds like it's fantastic. What about the rest of their
return team's really good, and they're just solid in their special teams. You know, they do a really good job of coaching it in Shelbyville, and it's going to be a heck of a battle here Friday night.
I'm looking forward to it. I know the Cat fans are looking forward to it. You mentioned the coaching staff, Coach Justin Palmer. It's his first season there. He's got that reputation as he wants to go full throttle. Are we looking at a shootout here Friday night, or would you like to see a more low-scoring game?
Well, I would like to see us score a lot of points, and I'd like to see them not, to keep it a low-scoring game for them, Wade. But I would say it could go either way. Our defense is very capable of coming out and having a great game, and our offense is very capable of staying in a tight game like that with a run game. I'd like to say that we'd hit some big plays in the pass game, but you never know.
Never know. Columbia, how would you rate their athleticism and speed to Shelbyville this week?
I would say that the skill players in Shelbyville are a little better. So I think speed-wise is probably similar, but they're bigger, stronger athletes.
Finally, biggest matchup in your mind, the Cats, sounds like eliminating penalties, and what else Friday night?
Oh, I think, as always, it's on the offensive and defensive lines. How do we do up front? Can we play up front? Second thing is, can we tackle on the perimeter in their perimeter pass run game?
We're filming this on a Tuesday. It's gorgeous right now. We're hoping for good weather on Friday. If we get good weather on Friday, we're hoping for a huge crowd down here as well.
Oh, the 12th man would be great. Our band, Mr. Pig, does a great job with our band. They were out here Friday night. It kept the energy up for us. We're lucky to have the support we have in Giles County. Most places you go for high school football these days, it's not like it is in Giles County. That's what makes me so happy to be back.
Coach, well, we're excited that you're back. Congrats on the first win.
Thank you,
We
Wade.
look forward to cheering you on Friday night. That's all the time we've got for this edition of the Coach's Corner Show. Again, Giles County is in action at home at the Brickyard this Friday against Shelbyville Central. Come on down. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. as we conclude Week 1 of the Coach's Corner Show presented by PES.